Welcome back to the channel, guys. I apologize for not uploading last week, but the parts did not come in. They finally showed up this week, so I'm going to go ahead and be working on the Integra, which desperately needs a wash, but I finally came in. We got the Function 7 subframe with the Function 7 lower control arms. So while I'll be installing that when I have the two control arms out, I'm actually also going to be running my stock exhaust back on the car as well. Since I've been dailying the car, the aftermarket exhaust that's on it is pretty loud, and I drive at night and do neighborhoods, and I've been getting complaints and whatnot. Also, since I've had it tuned, I have not been able to pass the EQ. I think the cat might be bad on that one. I know for sure the cat is good on this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this chopped up stock exhaust back on with the stock muffler. So yes, stay tuned. I have all that taken care of right here, right now. All right, and just like that, I have the aftermarket exhaust off, and I gotta swap over a few things. Like, let's see here, so just I'm gonna take that off so I can put it to seal that or close that off. Since my O2 comes down to my downpipe, or my mid pipe, whatever they want to call it, for the header or the stock manifold. And then let's see here, it looks like we gotta grab the hangers, swap them over, but yeah, I'm ready for the car to be a lot more quieter. So I didn't want to bore you guys with all that. You know, everybody knows how to pull the exhaust. It took about like 15 minutes. I had it out. Real quick, if you guys haven't, hit that subscribe button. I work really hard to try to get these content made so I can put on the video, and all I ask is for you guys to just subscribe, and if you would, share with your buddies. Tell them what's going on out here. I want to make enough noise to where if I could get thousands of subscribers, or not even subscribers, if I could just get thousands of people to be willing to go to car meets and stuff like that, we could be able to start getting stuff like Stance Wars to come down here. We could get H-Day to come out here. We could get off the top of my head, I don't forget now, but you know, we could get a lot more stuff like Wetfest. We could get that here, and that's the goal with all this, is so I can make enough noise here in the Portland area so where we can get big vendor guys to want to actually come out here to Woodburn or PIR, so we could do stuff like that and not have to drive down to California for Wetfest, or up to Seattle for Stance Wars or Wetfest or anything else like that. So that's the plan with this. So please try to help me get Portland on the map. That is the goal. And anyways, back to this. So we are going to be installing this now. It did come with its stock hardware, which looks a little bit better than what the normal eBay stuff usually comes with. I do have ABS as well with a rear sway bar, so I'm going to tear all that apart real quick, and I'm going to try to figure that out and see where it mounts up to here, because I do know this is for the LCA bolt here, and I believe these two right here is what goes to the actual subframe, and I'm not sure if this is where the tie rod, or not tie rod, the sway bar mounts will go, or if it goes here. I'm not quite sure. It's either here or it's here, and I know for sure that the sway bar will end links will go inside here, and I hope that I have the right hardware for that. Otherwise, I'm going to be running without the sway bar attached for the meantime until I get the right hardware, and then I'll put all that back together. But until then, let me go ahead and tear apart the back end, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. And yeah, by the way, I'm not sure what that is, but that came out of the cat on the aftermarket, so that might be a bad cat. All right, get down here. So that's what I'm talking about. So I got my ABS lines here. Also have the mounts for the sway bar right here. So looking at it now, it looks like it's right above here. So I'm guessing it's going to be the upper ones, whatever. And then, yep, we got our sway bar end links going right there. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. So let me tear this apart real quick and figure out where we're gonna put the ABS mount, that's gonna be interesting. So we'll get all this pulled out and we'll see how it looks. Alright, so we'll pull the sway bar off real quick. Alright, just in case you guys are wondering, I did loosen these first. No, they weren't in this loose. Okay, so now that we got the sway bar off, I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna take the bracket and the end link and figure out where it goes on the new subframe. Alright guys, so I'm a little stumped here. Where the center of this, where these go on, is, so yeah, that doesn't really line up at all. But I mean, I could just probably close that off a little bit, no problem, make it a little bit easier, or a little better. But the other thing is, I have this curve right here, right in the center, so when it does go on, it goes on sideways like that. So I'm not sure what to do about that, and unfortunately the top is not wide enough to where it's stock, where the stock goes, but then again it's not far over enough to where it's flat right there. So I'm stumped. I'm guessing I'm not going to be able to run a stock sway bar with the subframe setup, which is very unfortunate. But where the end links bolt, they do bolt right into the control arm perfectly. So I don't know, I'll try to figure something out. Another thing is they give you this with it. I know that's not how you use it, but this actually lines up perfectly with that. So worst comes to worst, I could bolt that on like that, but the only problem is now it's going to move the sway bar up or away from the subframe about 2 inches or so. So the plan is I'm going to pull the LCAs, the stock LCAs off. I'm going to stick this on, run just this bolt through. I'm not going to mess with the LCAs or the lower control arms yet. I'm just going to put the subframe base on and try to figure out what I'm going to do with this whole setup. Also, I did buy energy bushings as well. So I have these 14 mil energy bushings. They look like, yep, they're about the same size, so that's gonna work out if I can figure out how to get the sway bar mounted onto the subframe. So I'm gonna go figure that out real quick, and then I'll let you guys know what my solution is for that. Alright guys, so this is where I'm at. After a few minutes of messing around with it, I found out. So one goes straight through here, and that bolts straight to the subframe, and then where the collar goes is one will go there, and it'll line up with one of these. So I did have to open the mounting brackets up a little bit. So yeah, one's gonna go right up here, one's gonna go right into there, and that's where the smaller hardware came in. So that's for the bottom, and then this is gonna be for the top. So it's gonna go straight through, mount straight to the back. And I found out that when I take the sway bar and actually turn it backwards a little bit, it flushed out a lot better. And then I just took these metal I'm not quite sure what they are. Hangers, mounts, whatever. But they go on the ABS line. So I took those off, and then basically I'm thinking what I'm going to do is probably just most likely just zip tie this to the back of the lower control arm, since they don't have anywhere to mount up any of this hardware, or they have no holes, so I could mount up the mount or whatever it's called, which kind of sucks, to be honest, but it's not the end of the world. So like I said, I'll just hide that wire behind the LCA and use some white zip ties to hold it in place, so that way it's not very noticeable. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the control arm put in, and after we put in the control arm, I will run the bolts through the rest of the way, and then after I get that up, then I'll mess around with the wrist sway, or yeah, with the sway bar. So I'm gonna throw you guys on time lapse, and we'll get this done. That's pretty much what it's looking like. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other side done real fast, and let me show you guys pretty much what that's really gonna look like after it's all done. But anyways, so after you guys get all this taken care of, all the bolts are tight except for the LCAs. You want to put some preload on it, so I'm just going to jack the wheel up to where it's going to sit, and then I'll go ahead and bolt it down the rest of the way to get the preload, so that way it does not blow out the bushings inside the control arm. But after I get that done, I'll clean this out real quick, put the exhaust back on, I'll lower it, and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, quick update for you guys. Everything is on. It's looking real nice. And yep, I preloaded, I bolted all down. So everything's looking pretty good, and I don't know if you can tell, but the ABS line is zip tied. But it's hard to see from back here, so that's awesome. Alright, now I'm going to run the stock exhaust, put that back on, and then I can lower it, and we can take it around the block.